5 being snowed in. The power of the 6th note. Country steel guitar. I'm going to get into that in a minute. And how y'all doing out there? It's cold. I got my number 1 mom cup again. Look at that. See, like a lot of people ask me about that. Oh, by the way, I was going to mention something before I forget. I know I'm going to forget if I don't say something. Remember that guy, Ziggy Marley from Vegas, that did those amazing prints to celebrate the 50th episode? Really amazing hand-drawn art. You got to see what he's got cooked up for the 100th volume, if I live that long. Oh Lord, he's got this crazy like bendy guitar neck thing that he drew. That's just incredible. And I'm gonna hand sign them all. I don't know how many. I think 100 of them will make, and they'll be for sale. Shameless merch plug there, but it's gonna be cool. You know, I love that old country music. That was just a sort of an adaptation of the steel solo on Family Tradition right there. But you know, the thing about that I love that kind of playing. You know, a lot of people ask me about that sort of like that thing I did at the end of Dilly's Blues, that sort of, you know, almost Tejano, I don't know what you'd call it, that's old school country, where I was playing all those sort of voice leading things. I mean, that's what I'm really into. I mean, I don't know why I love that kind of stuff so much, but, you know, I've alluded to that on several previous episodes where you can sort of tell what the chords are behind it without even hearing the chords, right? By the way you play lead. So, for example, this song I was just playing, obviously, is just E, A, and B, 1, 4, 5, right? And I'm just doing some simple melodies, but I've got this E major, but I've also got the 6 down low. And that's some badass shit right there. I mean, you got, you think, what I think of is like when I think of an E6 chord, I think of a D sharp minor, right? Or this. Or this. Man, it's cold out here. I'm just gonna get lost playing some melodies and see if you can guess what the chords are behind them. Pick a key, any key. How about F sharp? Okay, let's see what happens, all right? I'm just gonna go off. Shit, he was the king of that stuff, you know. Using partial melodies to create illusions of chords in the listener's ear, you know what I mean? This is great at that stuff is Andy Reese. You guys know Andy Reese? Plays with the Time Jumpers. Man, he's amazing at that kind of stuff. Great player. You know, somebody sent me some shit that somebody wrote on the gear page about. First of all, thank you for the kind words about episode 93, where I was talking about all those inversions and you know, that sort of, what turns out to be a bit of a sort of a mutated cage system, which I didn't even realize, but it's just, you know, the way I think of things, you know, the sliding triads, you know, and somebody wrote on the gear page, they said, yeah, that episode 93 kind of bored me when he talked about all the triads, because it's stuff we should have learned in high school. Oh, really? Man, I must be a real dumbass, because it took me about 40 years of hard practicing to get that shit down cold. I must be a real late bloomer. Man, you know, all that stuff is, I watch these guys that I do sessions with that play steel guitar, and man, it's just constant doing it over and over, you know, shifting chords, knowing the shapes over and over and over, all day long, every day. You get to the point where you can recognize notes and recognize shapes the way you recognize your own kid, your own name. You know, you just, when he walks in the room, I go, "That's Marshall." When I play this, it's a C sharp minor, E6. I just know it, right? There's no, oh, is that C minor? Or is it? It's instantaneous recognition, you know. And I get that there's a lot of ways to be great at a guitar, right? You know, I always strive to be like just like expert level. You know, that's what I always wanted. But man, you could kick ass in the world out there on a guitar, not even knowing what you're doing, if you've got some great passion inside you and you've got emotion and you could write a song and you can sing, you know. So I'm not saying that if you don't know this stuff, you should just give up, right? But I'm just saying, if you want to take it to the next level, right, where you can play with anyone at any time and not be freaked out, this is what you got to know, right? People have asked me over and over, do I have to learn all this theory and stuff? It's like, no, you don't have to learn it all. But it's like how good you want to get. You know, it's like, I don't know. I don't understand that kind of thinking. You know, it's like, I remember there's this guy in Nashville. I won't mention his name, but I heard he's a session player. I heard he's a badass chess player, right? 1900 rated, which is really high. I don't really know the guy very well, but I called him up about a year ago. You know, I worked with him a couple of times, and I said, "Hey man, I heard you're 1900 rated chess player." And he was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Wow," because that's just insane, man. That's really good. And I said, "Man, would you give me some chess lessons?" And he was like, "Yeah, but first you got to read this book, this book, this book, and this book. And then you've got to know all the book openings to all, or the book responses to all these different openings." And I was like, "And then I'll give you a lesson," he said. And I was like, "Oh, okay, wow, okay." So, you know, at age 52, that's a lot of homework. And I understand why people don't want to do this, you know, because it is a lot, man. It's a big learning curve, right? And I never did. I just keep playing on my own, you know, on chess.com, and I still suck, and I probably, you know, will plateau and never get any better. But such is the plight of many guitar players, I think, you know. I think I'm lucky that I started playing guitar at such a young age, you know, because it was, you know how, like, when you learn something when you're young, your mind is much more malleable than it is when you're old, you know. I mean, it's easier to intake ideas and to retain them, you know. I look at like old football players that I used to collect. I pointed to a poster of Jim Brown up there. I remember when I was a kid collecting football cards, you know, 12. I remember all those guys' jersey numbers from looking at those cards. You know, you can name some old 70s football player, and I can remember his name, who he played for, and what his number was. And now, when I watch football, which I watch religiously, I don't think I could tell you one guy's number. I mean, I know the names, I know who they are, but my mind just doesn't work like that anymore. I can't retain that kind of stuff. It's like, and that's why I think people complain that it's hard to learn stuff when you're older, you know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just harder, right? because I think your brain is clouded with so much other shit, right? By this age, all the crushing responsibilities of being a parent, bone crushing responsibilities. But yeah, so that kind of thing. Man, I'm getting all philosophical today. Do that one. It's crazy, man. My brain is like a, I swear to God, man, when I get something stuck in my head, I don't know if you guys have this trouble, but man, I've had these old Hank Williams songs stuck in my head for like the last week, and it just is on like constant tape loop in my head. And it'll turn into something else, you know, whenever I start getting into something else, I'll be like, it'll be like that. And that just replays and replays in my brain. It's like I wake up and the first thought I have is just some lyric of some song that I've been thinking about for the last week. Oh, it's torture. Do you guys do that too? Man, it's horrible. Wish I could just erase it. Here's some pure PAF tone, right? Remember this old 59 335 that I've been playing on the last several episodes because it's such a badass guitar. I mean, this is straight into the amp, man, with just a little bit of verb. Bridge pickup. Neck pickup. So buttery, you know? Middle pickup. Check this out. Little Nobles and a little Analog Man, King of Tone. Name that song. Remember that one? Yeah, you know, people have asked me about this guitar, like, you know, these old Gibsons that I love. Why do you love them so much? You know, it's funny because, like, man, something about these old pickups. They're really musical. I mean, I'm not saying that they're, you know, I just like old stuff. You know, I like new guitars too. I'm not a vintage guitar snob. Like, I would put the pickups on that new Duesenberg up against anything. They're amazing, but they're just, it's a different thing. Like these old guitars, man, these old PAFs just have a thing, and it's pretty amazing. We all, you know, it's the myth of the old guitars. You know, people are always trying to figure out how to copy those pickups and everything, but I don't know what it is, man. It's I can't explain it. There's just something magical about them. And again, they're not all good, right? I've talked about that. I've had plenty of old PAFs in my life that were not happening at all. I mean, I would say probably only about 50% of them are good on these old Gibsons. You know, like, just because it's old, don't mean it's cool. That's what I always say. But when you get a good one, man, it's a special thing. I feel really lucky to have found this guitar in my life, you know. It's my old buddy Ford sold it to me. So go to Ziggy's art studio. I think he's going to be putting up some pictures of that 100th episode poster pretty soon. So check it out, see if you like it. Here's a cool lick. I probably showed you this before, but who cares? Where you take two note groups. You can do it like this. My old Danny Gatton lick. All right, guys, get out there and do some sledding. See you later.